Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Marvel Strike Force. Now, today we got the launch of the Spider Society Showcase event, and this is actually pretty meaningful. Part of the reason is I want to kind of show this from the perspective of my boosted account. And in the second half of this video, I want to talk about Peter B. Parker, who is the featured character that has gone in for today. And also, just as a heads up, anyone most people would have received this, which is the extra credit for the battle pass for those who basically for not doing Cosmic Crucible this week. I think that's an extra 8 levels, so hopefully that helps. Also, Out of Time was in the orbs as of yesterday, so they are in there now. Starbrand and Cosmic Ghost Rider in all of the orbs, including the Ultimate Store as well. And it does mention down here actually, Black Knight is specifically to the premium orb and will not be added to the bumps, so he's in premium orb only, and he will not be in the Ultra Store to buy directly there. And so this is actually kind of a good thing because it tells us, it gives us data going forward that if a character like Black Knight releases in the future, then we kind of know what to expect a little bit. That basically no dark promotion character has ever been in the bumps, even Spider-Man Big Time, who is now in the raid store. I guess, I mean, he's only in the raid store, in the raid orbs, nowhere else. He's not in the regular orbs as well. So anyways, all that and more in today's video. So if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. So where can you find the Spider Society Showcase? Well, it lasts for a whopping 32 days. And so this is interesting for a couple of reasons. Namely because, we've been talking about how crappy showcases have been lately, especially with the Cabal and even Cosmic Ghost Rider at the end of the Out of Time one. And so 32 days is pretty interesting because there's only actually 3 new characters, right? From earliest to newest to latest, probably going to be Peter B. Parker, Spider-Man Pavitra, and then ending with Penny Parker. And so 32 days. And if you guys haven't seen this, I think I want to show you this photo because I think it, I may have brought it up in another video, but anyways, I'm going to do it here. This is the wheel, I guess, for the April month-long events. And we have Peter B. Parker's free-to-play event here on April the 16th. And then a week after, called Golden Hour, we have Spider-Man Pavitra. So that runs until May the 1st. Now, we're on April the 4th, so I just want to look at my calendar really quick. That is essentially 4 weeks from now. So what does that tell me? I think we're going to be going back to probably what Cosmic Ghost Rider was. And so I'm expecting that, at least for the challenge difficulty, we should be able to clear the versions all the way up until Spider-Man Pavitra. And then when it comes to Penny Parker, it's going to be like Cosmic Ghost Rider, where, unless you core for an early unlock, you're not going to, I still think she's the May month-long event anyways, and you're not going to be able to do those nodes. But, what can we do right now? And one thing that I think is really, really interesting is that they front-loaded a lot of extra stuff. And this maybe have made up for what we lost from the Cabal showcase with Iron Patriot. Although the people who were able to do those nodes obviously are going to get a little bit ahead on the Blue 4 ions, but there is 3 million Blue 4 ions up front that does not even require Peter B. Parker, and this part's pretty nuts. So for the first 4 nodes, it's going to requires Spider-Man Noir and Ghost Spider, which you should have, or you should be able to unlock, because you're also going to find those shards in the test drive. So let's just start there anyways. There's going to be 50 shards for the various Spider characters here, including Ghost Spider, Big Time Spidey, Spider Weaver, and Noir in 2099, who are part of that web slinger trait that you're going to need for this campaign anyways. And then you can use that to then go into this campaign here, which is not really that challenging. They're pretty low level, like 40k. Like even my boosted account should be able to do this. It's not really that big of a problem. And then every single node in the beginning, which we can do the first 4 nodes right now. There's also more shards. So this is more shards outside of the test drive as well. So it's actually 100 for some of these characters. You can see here 100 and 100, which is really, really good and very new player friendly. And some of the stuff that I thought was really good about the showcase events in general. But as you can see on every single node, there is 750,000 Blue 4 ions for a grand total of 3 million. which is quite substantial. Whether or not you're kind of using that towards the apocalypse chase, or if you're just using it to upgrade your characters right now. How much do I have? I'm a serial hoarder, but even me, I'm only at 5.6 million. So I'll definitely take this 3 million because it's going to help me raise some of these other characters to blue 4 and 5, because you do need blue 4 ions to upgrade to blue 5. That's still required, unfortunately. And there's also these T2 ISO 8 credits, which seems like you probably don't need it, but actually 240,000 credits is actually a lot for a lot of early and mid game players. So this is some really juicy stuff, in my opinion. It might not seem that much, but being able to access these first 4 nodes at the beginning of the showcase, and we have 32 days to farm all the extra stuff. You might not need some of this, but realistically, you might as well do this, right? I mean, because you can farm teal origin pieces, so that you're not going to be bothered by that in case this is still a bottleneck for some people. This can go by really quickly if you're upgrading a lot of characters really fast. Now, after this, when you get to node number 5, that's when it starts involving Peter B. Parker, and you can see the rewards include G16 and G17 skill minis, which is fine, but we should be able to do this free to play in like a week and a half, maybe, whenever that showed on the event window there, with the Peter B. Parker event. And then I think that's 4 nodes. And then right after that is going to be Spider-Man Pavitra for probably 4 more nodes up until here, probably, which gives some tech stuff. And then, okay, I think that is going to assume that you're going to use Penny Parker. It doesn't say that, though, actually. So maybe this is clearable, because it says only Spider Society, but it does not say requires Penny. So in fact, we may be able to clear all of this, in which case you'll be able to do it as soon as Pavitra is unlocked, and then you can continue on the rest of the way, which is good, if that's how I interpret it. But I'm not 100% sure, but that's just what I'm reading into it. If it says only Spiders, it's not mandating 5 characters. I assume it's just you're only going to be able to use 4. I guess the option might be there to use Penny if you unlock early, but otherwise it's not, which is really good. I'm really happy about this, actually. And this is a huge change and a great step forward, I think, based on the problems of this past week, right? Spider Society, this is gear tier 14 and 4 Yellow Star. This probably is not free to play available. I'm just going to say that because normally the events are like 3-star-ish. So unless you core into some of these characters, you're probably not going to be able to do it. But what's interesting is it also says Spider Society. So, I mean, it's not unlocked for me now, which seems to suggest that you might need the full team, actually. Otherwise, it would just let me go in with 2, right? With my Ghost Spider and my Spider-Man Noir that I have right now, because they're at G14 for yellow. So, okay, I'm going to go back with what I said, that there's a good chance that they just did not include they did not include Penny, but will not let me do this until I have Penny unlocked. Okay. Either way, though, I think that the beginning stuff is still worthwhile. I think that this is a good makeup as far as the ions go. Fortunately, they didn't give a 3 million blue 4 or 2 million blue or whatever it was for the Cabal, for the people who missed out on that, but it is what it is. And hopefully going forward, we just have a lot more transparency and clarity over what we get and what we don't get. Now, for the second half of the video, I want to talk about Peter B. Parker, because a lot of people have been asking me, do you need Spider Society right now? And I think this answer, it could be an easy one, or it could be a more nuanced one. I'm going to say no. I don't think that Peter B. Parker is a good standalone character, so therefore I don't think that he's necessary for Dark Dimension. However, you will eventually need to build this team, of course, for the next Incursion 3 raid. I think that for 99, I'm going to say 99% of players are not going to need Spider Society right now, because the majority of players do not actually get into the skill lane. I'll tell you right now that it's very rare. And if I don't start my raids right at the beginning, I often don't have the energy to even go into skill before my next raid starts up again, depending on how many nodes I clear that day. So I very rarely get to the point where I actually could even bother doing the skill section as it sits right now, because it's towards the end of the raid. But when Incursion 3 comes out, I think that it's probably going to be within the first 3 lanes, right? It's probably going to be like lane 3 or lane 2. I think the way that they've been doing it is kind of like the crap team gets put to the back. So Bifrost is going to instead of being the first, it's going to be the last on the next raid. That's kind of what I'm expecting. And then they're going to, shuffle things down in a conveyor belt sort of fashion. So while you don't need to have it right now, I think that is something that you will obviously need to slow build. So when you do get them unlocked, but I don't think that you need to buy them. I mean, unless you're one of those people who are going to buy characters regardless of who they are, I don't think that Peter B. Parker is going to be adding anything into your roster right now. I don't think he's going to be adding anything into Cosmic Crucible next week. That's just my opinions. Of course, take it or leave it. As far as other better characters on Spider Society, I think it's going to be Spider-Man Pavitra, who has a lot better plug and play ability with this passive to give vulnerabilities, which is level 3 here on spawn apply to vulnerable to all enemies. And then Penny Parker is going to be the linchpin to the team to actually use the team in raids, because she gives trauma to the enemies and gives safeguard to the team and barrier. And so without that, I just don't think that it's going to function. You're not going to be able to do some sort of weird quasi. I highly doubt you're going to be able to do some weird quasi play with like just Ghost Spider Noir and Peter B. Parker with 2 other skill characters, especially if you're competing in the higher raids. I don't think that's going to happen. So until Penny comes out, the team's probably not going to function properly. I play tested this myself, and even then, there's a bit of a focus and resist issue. So without the full team, I mean, it's not, they're not as good as like Extreme. I think you could wiggle around and use Extreme before the full 5 was kind of finished, but I don't think that's the case for Spider Society. So TLDR, I wouldn't spend on Peter B. Parker. I don't think he's that great. He is the healer and support character of the team, which is very important, as we learned from Forge. But, you know, the other characters are just that much more important, oddly. You know, Peter actually heals too much, so I don't think that his star levels matter significantly. The team doesn't have a revive anyways, which is kind of weird, but that's a completely different thing to talk about at a later time. So yes, I'm very happy with the launch of today. So far, so good. I haven't seen any bugs. Let me know in the comments down below, or message me on Discord, of course, if there's any issues that you guys have run across today with the Spider Society Showcase event. But otherwise, I think I'm in a better place as far as like where we have come since the Cabal Showcase. I think things are looking up. I think that they've made a reasonable effort to try to make things better or make things right. I know it's not 100%, but I think it's not too bad, if you ask me. So let me know what your thoughts are about that in the comments down below. And of course, until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you on tomorrow's blog post video. Boilon signing out.